So in my last video, I gave you some recommendations to buy plants for indoors. So maybe you went out and you bought some. Now let me show you how to take care of them so that they don't die on you. So let's get started. So the first thing that you have to take care of is that when you bring the plant in, you have to put it according to their light requirements. If your room doesn't have any window or it has only a north facing window, it may get very little sunlight. So keep a plant that requires very low light in that room. If a plant requires quite a bit of indirect sunlight, maybe you want to put it in a room which has east window or south facing window, because those are the places where you will get maximum light in your house. Second, when you place a planter indoors, make sure that you have a saucer underneath it. For example, this plant, it's lying on my table, and if it doesn't have this saucer, then when I water it, the water will come down because it has holes underneath. It will come out, the excessive water will come out and is going to spoil my table and everything underneath. So it's very important to have a saucer below this. Now, there are some containers which have these inbuilt saucers. Now they are great because they keep your planter tidy. You don't have this big saucer around it. But if it already has water and you haven't checked, how much water you should put in it, and you pour more water in it, and the saucer is already full, you can't tell whether the saucer is already full. It may spill, and again your things may get spoiled. So they're great to have because they keep your planters tidy, but you have to be careful how to water. So I personally prefer to have a saucer like this, in which it will catch all the excessive water. So the third tip is about watering, and this can actually make or break your plants. Most of the indoor plants die because of overwatering. So don't water it just because it's weekend. Whenever you feel like watering, just go to the plant and put your finger inside the planter, and if it feels dry like this one, then you should water it. And if it doesn't feel dry, if it feels moist, then you should not water it. And when you are watering it, water it thoroughly. Meaning plants don't like little bit of water every day or every other day. They like lot of water in one go. And the reason is that if you put a little bit of water here, the water will be just absorbed by the topsoil and it will not reach the roots, which is where the water is needed most. But if you water it thoroughly, then it will go through the whole soil and it will reach the root, and that's what plants like. So two things to consider: that check if it needs the water. If it needs the water, then kind of fill it to the rim, and whatever is the excess water will in any case go and come in this saucer, so you don't have to worry about it. And in summers, no more than once a week should be enough, and maybe in winters once in 15 days should be enough, unless you are running heat all the time and it's really dry inside. So the best thing is to, if you're not sure, to check, put your finger inside the soil. If it feels moist, then it's okay. If it feels dry, then you want to water it more. The fourth thing that you need to do is that once in a while you need to mist your plants. So take any spray bottle and just lightly mist it. Plants love that. So one thing is that, of course I'm not misting it heavily here because it will spoil my wood, but what happens is that once you mist it, the dust from the leaves, it kind of washes away, so plants can breathe better. and it creates the humidity around the plant, which is really good for plants. So once in a while, mist the plant. If you want, you can just take the plants out somewhere, mist them properly, and once they're a little bit dry, you can bring them back. Or, put a newspaper or something and then mist them. So the fifth tip that I wanted to give you was that once in a while you should open the windows of your room, because the room has this air and it can get really stale. Plants are also living organisms, and they like to have some fresh air. So if weather permits, once in a while open up the window and leave it open for some time. Tip number 6. So if you have just bought the plant, then probably you don't need a fertilizer in the plant, because the nursery would have already put the fertilizer. But if you have had the plant for some time now and it is growth period, meaning in spring and in summer, you should fertilize the plants at least once a month. So you can use any general purpose fertilizer, and as per the direction of the fertilizer, just put the fertilizer in all the plants, but no more than once in a month, and that too also in the growth period. The 7th tip is that once you feel that the plant has really grown big, you should prune it a little bit. Now, don't do any pruning in fall or winters, because that is a kind of dormant period. Plants don't grow well, so don't prune it at that time. But in spring or summer, you can prune them. Or if you think probably it has become too big for the planter, then you should repot it. And again, when you are repotting, you will definitely do some damage to the roots. So if it is a growth period, they'll quickly grow and the plant will be fine. But if it was a dormant period, the plant may not take it very well. So those are my top 7 tips for the indoor plants. And another thing that you should do is that just keep removing any dead leaves or yellow leaves, because that will make your plant look tidy. And also, if the leaves are yellowing, so then if you have taken it off, then the plant is not going to spend more energy on that leaf, which is going to die in any case. So I hope I've covered everything that you needed to know for the indoor plants. If you still have any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.